All right, start.
Hello classmates, my name is Michael IMP and today I'm going to be talking about the future of the pharmaceutical industry. So, while reading the stimulus packet, particularly the article on extrasensory perception, I was amazed at how greatly technology can benefit mankind. I began further research into the various ways technology can improve human lifestyles. In conclusion to this research, I came to the conclusion that technology will most benefit medicine in the future. According to the Federal Administration for Education and Research, there are over 30,000 different diseases known to mankind. Many of these diseases have cures for them and have been treated by humans, but many of these diseases, such as cancer and AIDS, have no cure for them. 7.7 million people die each year due to cancer, and around 35 million people have died due to the AIDS virus. According to the graph you can see on the left-hand side, between the years 2012 and 2030, cancer cases are reported to increase by about 50%, up from 14 million to around 21 million, and cancer-related deaths are going to skyrocket, up 60% to 13 million, up from 8 million in those years. Many families are victims of deadly diseases and viruses, and this information is relevant to us because many of us in here have been sick, and many of us in here will become sick in the future. These high numbers of incurable diseases have led me to my thesis, which is the pharmaceutical industry simply does not have enough ways to cure and treat as many diseases and to help as many people as they can worldwide. I've come up with 3 possible solutions to this process, to this problem. First of which is reversing paralysis. Gregor Courchain, a French neuroscientist, is now developing revolutionary technology to reverse the effects of paralysis. What he will do is to implant an electrical device into the brain that connects the part of the brain that controls movement to the spinal cord, thus reversing the effects of paralysis. This original experiment was conducted on a partially paralyzed monkey. The monkey had a front left leg that was partially paralyzed. Gregor put the chip into the monkey's brain, and while the chip interpreted the monkey's intentions to move and flex his leg, the leg itself began to move and extend and flex. Gregor then wanted to test this process on a more human subject. A quadriplegic patient was volunteered for this process, and when the chip interpreted the human's intentions to extend and flex his arm was able to extend and flex as well to clench into a fist. This solution, like the others, has its various pros and cons. The pro of reversing paralysis is that it will tremendously improve the lifestyles of those who suffer from paralysis. The cons of this is the cost of the research and then the cost of the chip to employ into the patient. The solution is limited by its availableness. According to MIT, this solution will not be available for around the next 10 to 15 years. But the implications are the effects of paralysis can and will be removed from the world once it's developed fully. My second proposed solution to this problem is gene therapy. According to Google, gene therapy is the transplantation of normal genes into cells in place of missing or defective ones in order to correct genetic disorders. A story from this comes from 2015 by a woman by the name of Kyla Lopes. She gave birth to 2 sons, 2 twin boys, one of them who was born normal and healthy, and the other one who was born with SCID, which will leave him without an immune system if left untreated. Kayla was introduced to gene therapy, and within hours her son was given a gene placement into his veins. He then grew to become bigger than his brother and is living a normal, healthy life. Next slide, please. The pros of this solution are it can cure cancer, AIDS, cystic fibrosis, and hemophilia once it hits its high potential. Another pro is like I said, it's high potential. It has the ability to cure and treat many different diseases and disorders. On the other hand, there are scientific, ethical, and religious issues. Sometimes gene therapy may not work, which is a scientific issue. And ethically, it is very expensive, so it may seem as only the rich can be cured of their issues. The religious issue is whenever you are talking about altering a human being, you are essentially playing God in the way that he created the human. The limitation of the solution, like I said before, is not always successful, and new or worse symptoms may develop in the patient upon when the gene therapy is conducted. However, the implications of many genetic and deadly diseases can be cured with this solution. My third and final solution to this is tissue engineering. Tissue engineering can be defined as a combination of cells, engineering materials, and pseudo-biochemical factors to improve or replace damaged or tissues and organs. The pro of this solution is it can treat diseases and prolong life, and it can greatly improve the quality of life for someone who suffers from organ damage or tissue damage. The con of the solution is that a foreign substance in the body can often trigger an unwanted reaction in the body, causing disease or even death. The solution is limited by the amount of research needed for each organ, but the implications are many lives can be changed for the good with tissue engineering. Next slide. In conclusion, all three of these solutions are viable solutions, and they will all help contribute to saving more lives and helping many people across the world.
Okay, Mikey, I got a couple of questions for you. What information did you need initially that you found hard to locate, and how did you go about finding that information?
So I started off by searching how technology is going to impact the future, and most of the results came up were in medicine. So I couldn't just go off of just the list of like technologies that will be in the future. I had to go into more detail of searching up, like for example, my first one, reversing paralysis, I had to search up what its definition was, and then who was conducting the experiment, and then I had to do more research on who was conducting the experiment to make sure he was like a well-known scientist, and make sure that all of his information was reliable and credible.
Okay, cool. And as a follow-up, if you had more time, how would you do additional research related to this issue? What questions would you ask?
If I had more time and if I had more resources, I would want to ask people, especially with gene therapy, who have had those treatments done on them, to see like how they react to it, and see if they would want the funds to be given for it to help more people worldwide, and if not, and also for people who suffer from like genetic disorders, if they want something to help them, or if scientists around the world want to see this change made actually, or if it's just just like more ideas and hypotheticals.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.